Hi, this is Chef Alex Reethof. We have a wonderful show for you today. We've got steamed mussels, a pork tenderloin, and a luscious maple creme caramel. But as well, we've got a distinguished guest, Olympic champion Dwight Phillips. Stay with us. Welcome back. I'm Chef Alex Reethof and enjoy cooking. What we're going to do right now is going to do a fabulous steamed mussels with tomatoes and garlic, a little bit of sherry, and lots of herbs, and we're going to sop it up with some great bread. So let's get started. I've got mussels here. I've got some bay leaves. We're going to use some sherry. I've got some basil, some oregano, lots of garlic, and I've got some San Marzano wonderful canned tomatoes. They're absolutely luscious, beautiful flavor, great sauce. This is the only tomato I really like to use. We're going to put this in and make a great savory sauce in our pan as we steam the mussels in it. So what we're going to do is take some herbs, and we're going to just give them a quick coarse chop. This is our oregano, and we want to have it plenty of wonderful oregano flavor. It always goes so well with tomatoes. I'm going to take some fresh basil, and I'm going to curl this under, chop it all up in the same, and we'll keep them all together. That looks so nice. We'll save this for a little bit later. A little parsley. Curl this under again the same way we chopped the other that we did, and we'll just give it a nice coarse chop because this is kind of a rustic dish. Really simple, really easy for you to do in the holiday season with the family. And I've got some bay. Some bay leaf. Most people just put the whole bay leaf into their dish, but all the flavor is once you break it all open. Once you snap it open, then all of a sudden, all that wonderful flavor is released from the stem and from the leaf, and we can then actually taste the bay. So I come over to my pan. I'm going to add some olive oil in this, and we're going to make it nice and hot, good hot pan. And we're going to take this and we're going to add all of our herbs, and we're going to sweat the herbs in this. And you can hear it just sizzling away in the bottom of that pan. Okay, I'm going to use a little crushed red pepper to give it a good bit of zing. And we're going to saute all this together. I've got my bay to go in. We're going to come in with lots of garlic. All right, smelling great. I'm going to give this a little twirl. Oh, just the aromas just come right up through. This is a very, very simple, very easy dish, a quick dish that works so well with the family in the holiday season or any time of year so that you can actually not be in the kitchen all night long. We're going to move this around and get all that wonderful flavor all mixed in. Oh, the steam's coming out wonderful, and you need a lot of steam for this. The mussels go right in. All right. We're going to take these mussels, a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper, and then now we add the sherry, and we'll put the lid on. Oh, that's beautiful. You can smell that wonderful aroma coming right up through. We're going to close this down after we mix it up and just let it steam for a few minutes. And that's key for this dish. The lid goes on. Now, while that steams and that cooks for the next 5 minutes, I want to introduce our very distinguished guest, Dwight Phillips, 2004 Olympic long jump champion. Come on in, Dwight. Thanks so much. He's going to help us finish this dish. Thanks so much.
Great to see you. Smelling great over here.
Smelling good over here?
Oh, yeah, smelling tasty.
That's wonderful. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for being on here with us. What we're going to do, Dwight, is we're going to plate this when it comes off. And I want you to sample this with me because these mussels have a great aroma, but they also have a great feel, a great taste. We're going to also have to have that with a little bit of bread. So we got a little ciabatta bread here, a little rustic bread, and all we're going to do is cut some pieces, some wedges for you to put in there and dip so you can get all of that wonderful juice that's coming out of the mussels into our bowl, and then we'll have just a delightful dish. This is very simple, very easy, and you can share it with your whole family. Even my kids love it. So let's see how we're looking right here. And yeah, these mussels are just starting to open. That's exactly what we're looking for. Is just as soon as they open, that makes them nice and tender. And they aren't overcooked. If you let these go too long, what happens is they get too tight, and then they fall out of the shell, and you can't find them anywhere in your sauce. All right, Dwight, I think these mussels have they've all opened up. They all look like they're cooked. They're looking beautiful in here. They've all absorbed some flavor, released some flavor. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some in a bowl for us.
Okay. It smells great.
And I think you and I need to give these a try. Got to get some of that wonderful sauce on there. What do you think? Doesn't that look lovely?
Oh, it looks great and it smells just as good.
All right, so I'm going to turn this off. Let's take a look at this. All right, we got to garnish this with a little bit of bread. Just put it right down, some wedges of ciabatta bread right down in there. Mm-hmm. And then I got a fork for you.
Okay.
And the easiest way to eat these mussels is to pick one up, kind of spread them open with a fork, and pull them right on out.
Okay.
Oh, good garlic, the basil, the oregano. Oh, it's wonderful. What do you think?
Excellent.
Do you think you can jump over these mussels?
I think it'll make me want to jump on my wife. It tastes so great. It tastes great.
Thanks for coming on, Dwight. I really appreciate it, man.
Wow,
A pleasure talking with you.
Great.
Come on anytime.
No problem.
Stay tuned because we got some pork tenderloin coming up next. We're back, and we have with us our guest, Dwight Phillips, Olympic champion 2004 long jump, and we're thrilled to have you, Dwight. Thanks. We're going to do, hopefully, a pork loin that is made with mojo and with a guava glaze that is worthy of an Olympic champion.
Oh, wow. That sounds great.
Well, maybe you can help me out a little bit. The first thing we're going to do is make our marinade. So in this marinade, we're going to have a little orange juice, jalapeno pepper. We're going to do some lemon juice, some cumin seed. We're going to do some red onion, some cilantro, and garlic. Doesn't that sound great?
Sounds awesome.
All right, so let's start. In our food processor, we're going to go ahead and drop our jalapeno in. I'm going to go ahead and add some some lime juice, some orange juice, about 4 cups of orange juice, some cumin seed, which is absolutely wonderful. It's whole, and when it marinades with this pork loin, it makes a nice earthy flavor to it. I'm going to take a little bit of onion, and I'm going to chop it up a little bit so we can get it kind of fine in here. We'll put this back, and we'll just put a little bit of onion in this. That gives it some great tangy flavor at the same time. We'll take about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. We'll bring it in, and a little bit of cilantro. And it comes right in, and we'll just put this lid on top, and we'll let it go.
Wow.
Isn't that nice? So we're going to take this, while this is blending up, we're going to take our pork tenderloins. And within a pork tenderloin, this is the finest cut of meat of the pork. There's a piece of silver skin right up across here. Okay, and we want to get that out because this is like dental floss if we don't get this out. So we're going to just take a little nice quick cut. We'll pull this piece of meat off, and there's a little bit more right here. And that'll allow our marinade to penetrate right down through that particular area as well. So that one's ready to go. So what we're going to do, if you'll help me out by pulling that bag out,
okay,
and if you'll put that tenderloin in that bag, and I'll get this one ready.
all right.
This marinade is one of those marinades that does best if we marinate this for at least 4 hours, and you can let it go for up to 48 hours. Sound good? So we'll get this in.
Awesome.
This marinade's going to tenderize it because there's some good acid in it.
Okay.
And that acid will take that protein in that pork tenderloin and make it nice and tender. Not that it isn't already.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. We're just going to drop this down in. And what you'll do is if you'll seal that right up and make it kind of flush so there's no air in it. You just take it to a certain point and now pull all the air out and seal it the rest of the way. While you do that, I'll pull this out and get this out of our way.
There we go.
Looks like we're ready to go.
Yeah, we're rocking and rolling over here.
All right, so we'll set this aside. Now we just happen to have, some pork tenderloins that are already pre-cooked. So what we're going to do, Dwight, if you'll help me out, we're going to take some and make a glaze for it. This glaze makes this dish absolutely glisten and have tremendous, tremendous flavor, good depth of flavor. We're going to use a guava jelly. Okay, it's from the guava fruit, and it's beautifully sweet. And I'll give you this, and if you'll just pour some of that into our bowl, I'll hold this for you here. Here's a spoon if you want to dish that out.
Oh, yeah.
While he's doing that, we're also going to take some organic stone ground mustard, spicy mustard, and we're going to give it a good old splotch of that.
Yeah, I love this fruit.
That looks excellent,
Oh,
doesn't it?
yes.
All right, put that back in again. Put that spoon in there, and you give it a big old shot of that. There you go, a little more, a little more. Yeah, well, can't hurt with that mustard. That's looking good. All right, looking good. And give me about half of that juice.
Okay.
There you go. Got all the pulp in that juice. And yeah, perfect. And if you'll take this, hold the bowl and just whisk it up a little gently there, and we'll see if we can't break that all up.
Wow.
Doesn't that look good?
It looks good. You can smell the flavor off it already.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to put that flavor right on top of this. So in the meantime, I'm going to take my pork tenderloins and I'm going to put them on a hot griddle and just kind of get them back where they are. Can you hear that sizzle? Oh yeah, these things look absolutely awesome. And you want to cook the pork to a good medium temperature, about 120 degrees internally. They'll continue to get there. Hey, that looks great. You did a great job.
You're right.
I think you have cooking in your past and future. Huh?
Oh yeah, hopefully so.
You're looking good with this, huh?
Yeah, I'll be your apprentice.
You will. I think I'll be yours. I'm not sure how this works. Hey, I hear they're looking for some Olympic chefs here in the future. You gonna be able to give me a little chime in on that one?
Oh, most definitely, man.
That's great.
Man.
So what we want you to do over here, Dwight, if you will, come on over here, and all I want you to do is baste these a little bit with the glaze.
Okay.
All right? And go ahead and be good and liberal on that. Just paint it on thick.
Just paint it on thick.
Bring it right to it, yeah. Yeah, that's it. You can bring Moses to the mountain on that one, baby. That's it. You put it on there good and thick, and this will just gel right on top of that pork tenderloin. It looks good, doesn't it?
Yes.
And that smell's coming up off of that griddle.
Oh.
And it's going to make a nice sugary glaze on top of this because we got a good bit of spice in that meat from that marinade, from the orange juice. It's got that jalapeno in it.
Oh, it smells unbelievable.
You can also use habanero peppers if you want to. So we're looking good here, doesn't it?
Oh, wow.
All right, so at this point, we're going to take this off and put this on our platter because I think we got them hot enough. So we're going to plate these up like this, make them look nice.
Oh.
Don't they look great for the whole family?
Yeah, it's tenderloins to kill for right there.
I think we can feed an army for this, don't you?
Oh God!
All right, so let's pull this over, and why don't we carve one of these up and put them on a plate for us?
Okay.
And let's see how this works.
So I got this. That taste, man.
I got this going here. Let's see if we can't just pull this down. Oh, look at that color. It's nice and pink inside. Now, you don't have to overcook pork anymore because it's one of the cleanest foods in our food supply. And, oh, that just smells great. Can you smell that mustard coming through, that guava and the mustard? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and we're just going to put this all on a plate. I'd like to mention a couple things about how pork can be easily paired with either white wines or red wines. It's a very, very versatile product, and it's a great thing to serve at any season, including the holiday season. And there's an unlimited number of side items that you could put with this. Some of the favorites I like to do are just a sautéed red cabbage with a little bit of heat to it, so a little bit of pepper to it. It goes great with a little sweetness of the pork. Okay. So this is one of those wonderful things that we can do with pork, and that makes it very, very versatile. So what I'd like to do is provide you, let's give this a little sample, and you can try a little piece there. Got a little knife and fork, and we can try this together and see how this turns out.
Okay.
See if that glaze is all that great.
I hope so.
What do you think? That turned out pretty good, didn't it?
This is delicious.
It is sensational. I must say so myself.
You're the man, the Olympic chef.
Thank you.
champion.
Thank you, Dwight. It was a real pleasure having you. Enjoy that. We'll enjoy this pork together. And hope to see you soon sometime with a show,
It was a
all right?
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. And stay with us because we are coming back for a fantastic dessert of a maple creme caramel. Welcome back, everybody. As promised, we got an awesome dessert for you to show you today. And it's going to be a maple creme caramel, which is an absolutely stunning dessert. It's creamy, it's smooth, it's got great sugar to it, wonderful light flavor. It's actually in the flan family. So what we're going to use for this is we're going to use eggs, mostly egg yolks. We're going to use real maple syrup. We're going to use heavy cream and milk. I'm going to have a little bit of butter, but we're also going to make a little caramel with sugar. And I've got my friend Chef Shay with me today, and he's going to show us a new technique.
A new technique. This is
Kind of a short circuit, right?
Right. The trick I've been using for a while now is instead of using water in my caramel, I actually just use sugar and just melt it. You gotta
And this
really
is a
pay
great way to
attention.
shorten it up, right?
Yeah, it takes about 3 or 4 minutes as opposed to like 10 minutes.
And so
I-
what you're doing is this is actually melting the sugar in a really hot pan,
Right.
and it's already turning brown on us, which
Already.
is the color of the caramel color that we're looking for in the sugar to begin with.
Right.
Now, normally when I do this, I'll do it with a little bit of water in it. It might take 10, 12, 15 minutes to get that caramel color, and he's already getting it in his pan. You can actually see the smoke coming up. Shay, I think you're a genius on this one.
It just takes a lot of time out of it and makes it a lot easier.
I'm
You do have
impressed.
to keep an eye on it though, because it will burn faster. If you add the water to it, it really doesn't burn quite as fast. This way it does burn, but it really makes it a lot faster and I think a lot better. Anytime you add water to it, it really just takes flavor out of the sugar.
You're getting some good color already. I can see it.
Yep.
So while you're doing that, what I'm going to do is get our pan ready. So with every creme caramel, we need to put it in a pan. And so I got just a regular old baking pan that we bake a cake in. And I've also got a bath that we're going to put it in. So this is kind of a bigger pan that's got a little bit of water in the bottom of it. And this is what we're going to put our caramel whole composition in and drop it in here and put it right in the oven. Now, some people get a little bit intimidated by this whole custard, using the egg yolks and so forth, and some hot kind of cream. So I'm going to show you and take some of the mystery out of this, some of the fear out of this whole process. So while Shay's doing that, how's it looking, Shay? Can you just
I'm
take a
just
quick...
about ready here in about 20
Oh,
seconds.
look at
I'll
that
be
great
done.
color.
It's already got a nice dark caramel color to
And
it.
you can see the smoke coming up, right? Can everybody see the smoke coming up out of that?
The only thing you want to make sure is that all these little clumps in there of sugar get melted down. And once they're melted down and got a little color to it, you pour it in the pan. And the pan, as it cooks in the oven, will give you the rest of the color.
That's right. Looks great,
There
Shay.
we go.
All right, so that goes right in my pan. And what we're looking forward to do here is we got a little butter in that pan, and that will let this caramel kind of adhere to the sides. And we'll just let that sit for just a minute. And while that sits, we're going to turn this on, this one, and we're going to add some milk, and we're going to scald this. We're going to add about a cup of milk, and we're going to add about twice as much heavy cream. And scalding this just simply cuts any kind of, when we bring it up to a slight simmer, we don't actually boil this. That's what scalding is. And it just kind of kills any kind of bacteria that are in there to keep the egg and this milk from coming together. While that's going on and we bring that to a slight simmer, I'm going to separate some eggs. So we're just going to take the egg whites, and we're going to keep the egg yolks because that's what really makes that whole custard nice and rich and deep. And I'm going to throw in 5 eggs, yolks, and I'm going to take 1 whole egg and put it in. So as I separate these out, we're going to get a lot of our flavor and sweetness from this dish coming from our maple syrup. And this maple syrup is all made from real maple trees. It doesn't have any of the corn sweeteners in it. It's a really, really wonderful flavor that we've really gotten away from in cooking with and using and putting on pancakes. It's always been, oh, a little runaway on me there, a little salvage, and there we go. All right, and then the last one, I'm going to use the whole egg, and we're all ready to go with that. Shay, if you could just put that aside for us, sure. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to just give this a little whisk. Mix this up, and this is when we take all of our wonderful maple syrup. We're going to pour it right in, the whole jar. I'm just going to squeeze the rest of that out. All right, here we go. We're done with that. Thank you. All right. And we're going to take this and just whisk this together. So, whenever we're making a creme caramel or anything in a custard base, we're going to take this egg mixture, and if we pour this hot liquid into the egg mixture too quickly, we'll get scrambled eggs. And that's the biggest fear out of making custards. Custards are very simple to make, very easy. All we do is temper what we're pouring into it. So what we're going to do is, and it looks like we're about there, huh? What do you think?
Yeah, it looks great.
Starting to foam a little film on top. So I'm going to take this over, and while I'm whisking, I'm just going to pour a little bit in and just whisk it in. This is called tempering the eggs. Very, very simple, very, very easy process, and you'll never get scrambled eggs by doing this. So I'm just whisking it around and letting that come up to the temperature. And once we get it to a certain point, we can just pour all of this in. There we go. And we'll just let this mix together. Now, there's not a thing wrong with having this just be a little bit warm. Look at that wonderful, oh my gosh, it's probably got one incredible flavor. So I've got my pan, okay, and I've got a great coating on the bottom of this pan with that caramel. I'm going to put it into our bath. In goes our custard base, right on top of that. And we're ready to go in the oven. This is really an amazingly easy and simple dish. It is absolutely staggering for your guests. So what I'm going to do is take this into the oven. I'll bring it over.
Here, let me get the oven for you.
Hey, thanks, Shay. He goes into the oven for about 50 to 55 minutes until it is just starting to form a custard base. And you don't want to overcook it. You don't need to overcook it. All it has to do is get a little bit jiggly in the inside, and it's all ready. This is our finished product. And Shay, if you'll get a couple plates, we can go ahead and try this. This is a remarkable dessert. And what we'll do is, I just want to show you how this breaks open so easily and so simply. You take a little piece out of here. It's got a nice little bath of that caramel on top. And look at this, it just pulls right out like a little wedge. We'll put that on a plate for you. Shay, thanks so much for helping.
Of course.
You've been awesome.
Glad to help.
And this is how you make great food and enjoy the cooking process, because it's not hard.
That's great.
Oh, that's wonderful. Folks, I really want to thank Dwight Phillips for being on our show earlier. And I want to thank Shay. You did a fantastic job. Thank you for the new technique that you shared with us today.
Definitely.
And I want to thank all of you out there for joining us today. I enjoy cooking. I love cooking. There's a passion for it. I love to see people happy and having fun with food. And I want to bring people back to the table. I want them to enjoy simple foods that you can do it easily, without a lot of time, without a lot of money, and bringing families together is what it's all about. Thanks, and I hope to see you again.